You are watching True Crimes AI on December 30th, 2000. In one of Tokyo's quietest residential neighborhoods, an entire family was brutally murdered inside their home. But what makes this case so deeply disturbing isn't just the crime itself, it is what the killer did afterward. This is the haunting, unsolved case of the Setagaya family murders. The Miyazawa family lived a peaceful life in Setagaya Ward, a calm, family-oriented area of Tokyo right next to Soshigaya Park. The family was made up of 44-year-old Mikio Miyazawa, his 41-year-old wife Yasuko, their 8-year-old daughter Nina, and their 6-year-old son Rei. Mikio worked as a business consultant, and Yasuko was a dedicated mother. By all accounts, they were a close-knit, loving family with a predictable daily routine. There were absolutely no known threats against them, no major disputes, and no warning signs of the horror that was about to unfold. On the evening of December 30th, the family was at home, likely preparing for the New Year holiday. At some point late that night, an intruder forced his way into their home through a small bathroom window on the second floor. Investigators believe the attack began almost immediately. Mikio was the first to be confronted. The scene showed clear signs of a violent struggle, indicating he fought desperately to defend himself and his family, but his efforts were in vain. The attacker then moved through the house, systematically murdering Yasuko and their 2 young children, Nina and Rei. By the time the sun rose, all 4 members of the Miyazawa family were dead. The next morning, December 31st, around 10 o'clock a.m., Yasuko's mother grew worried. She hadn't been able to reach her daughter by phone, which was unusual. She decided to go to the house to check on them. When she arrived, she found the home eerily quiet. No one answered the door. Using a key she had, she let herself in and walked into a scene of unimaginable devastation. She found her daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren and immediately called the police. What investigators discovered inside the Miyazawa home was unlike anything ever seen before in Japan. The brutality was shocking, but it was the killer's bizarre behavior that truly baffled them. It became clear that 2 different knives had been used in the attacks. One was a sashimi knife the killer brought with him. When its blade broke during the struggle with Mikio, the killer didn't panic. Instead, he calmly went to the family's kitchen, selected a new knife, and continued his rampage. But the strangest part is what he did next. The killer did not flee the scene immediately after committing the murders. Instead, he stayed inside the house for several hours, possibly up to 10. During this time, he made himself at home. He ate ice cream and melon from the family's refrigerator. He used their computer, even leaving behind browsing history that showed he looked up a university website and a theater company. He took a brief nap on a sofa in the living room, and he used the bathroom but didn't bother to flush, leaving behind yet more physical evidence. This calm, almost casual behavior after such a violent act was deeply disturbing and pointed to a very unusual and dangerous perpetrator. Unlike most murder cases where killers try to cover their tracks, this one left behind an extraordinary amount of physical evidence. It was almost as if he wasn't concerned about being caught. Police found the clothes he had been wearing, neatly folded and left at the scene. A blood-stained sweater, a hat, a scarf, and a hip bag. They also recovered partial fingerprints on multiple surfaces and, most importantly, extensive DNA samples from the killer's blood, which was mixed with the victims at the scene. It seemed like an open and shut case. With so much evidence, an arrest felt inevitable. The DNA analysis provided a detailed, yet perplexing profile of the suspect. It revealed he was a male, likely in his late teens or early 30s. But the most surprising finding was his ancestry. The DNA showed he had mixed parentage, primarily East Asian, but with a significant amount of Southern European DNA as well. This was highly unusual for a crime committed in Japan, a country with a relatively homogeneous population. This discovery immediately broadened the investigation, forcing police to consider suspects from outside the country. The clothing left behind offered more strange clues. Investigators traced the brands and found that some of the items were either not sold in Japan or were sold in very limited quantities. The hip bag contained sand, not just any sand, but particles that were scientifically matched to soil found near U.S. military bases in Japan, as well as sand from the Mojave Desert in California. Other sand particles were traced to areas in South Korea. These findings fueled several theories. Was the killer a foreign national? Did he have connections to a military base? Was he a frequent traveler? Despite these promising leads, no confirmed match has ever been made. The scale of the investigation that followed was immense. Since the year 2000, over 250,000 police officers have worked on this case, making it one of the largest investigations in Japanese history. More than 12,000 pieces of evidence have been collected and analyzed. The killer's DNA has been compared against national and international databases time and time again. Police have pursued thousands of leads and interviewed countless individuals. And yet, despite all this effort, no suspect has ever been arrested. Over the years, several theories have emerged, but none have been definitively proven. One theory is that it was a random intrusion, a burglary that went horribly wrong. The attacker may have had no personal connection to the family and simply chose their house by chance. Another prominent theory involves a foreign national, supported by the DNA evidence and the origins of the clothing. Investigators have looked into individuals with ties to military bases and international communities, but without success. Some have speculated that Mikio was targeted due to a dispute related to his business consulting work, but no evidence has ever substantiated this claim. Finally, the killer's bizarre behavior after the murders suggests he may have been psychologically unstable, acting on impulses that defy rational explanation. So, why does this case continue to haunt Japan more than 2 decades later? It's because it defies all logic. The killer left behind his DNA, his fingerprints, and his personal belongings, a treasure trove of evidence that should have led directly to him. The crime happened in what was considered an incredibly safe, quiet residential neighborhood, shattering the community's sense of security, and most unnervingly, the suspect lingered for hours. In the home with his victims, an act of chilling audacity. The fact that he could do all this and simply vanish remains a profound and terrifying mystery. As of today, the Setagaya family murders case remains unsolved. It is still classified as an active cold case in Japan. The massive reward for information leading to an arrest still stands. The DNA evidence is carefully preserved and is periodically re-examined as new technologies become available. Every year on the anniversary of the murders, Japanese police hold public appeals, hoping that someone somewhere will finally come forward with the missing piece of the puzzle. But more than 2 decades later, the killer has never been identified. The Setagaya family murders remain one of the most disturbing unsolved cases in modern history. It's a mystery defined not by what investigators are missing, but by how much they have. And yet, there are still no answers. Somewhere out there, the person responsible for this horrific crime simply walked away, leaving behind a house full of evidence and a question that refuses to fade with time. You've been watching True Crimes AI. If you found this case informative, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more carefully researched true crime documentaries. Thanks for watching.